If you wanna find me, yeah, I'm in the front row. With my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be, I'm in the front row. Best place to be, yeah. If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. With my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be, I'm in the front row. Best place to be, yeah. So what's colder than ice and even...
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. I'm your host, Dylan, and we are so glad to be back. Shereen and Fredo are both with me, ready to discuss Game 1. We also have Harlem Globetrotter Paul, Showtime Gaffney joining our show. Paul, welcome.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Glad to be here.
Excited to have you. I'm sure you are ready to talk some basketballs. As so are we. We are ready to discuss the Western Conference Finals, which look a little different than anticipated. The Lakers and Nuggets battled in Game 1, where the Lakers a dominating 126-114 win to take Game 1 of the series. They jumped out early, guys, and really dominated Game 1. So, Shereen, we'll come to you first. Your reaction from Game 1, is this a positive sign from the Lakers?
Well, the braids are doing them well. So AD now has braids. Rondo has braids. So playoff Rondo has shown up like nothing else, shooting balls from behind the basket. You know, that last floater was amazing. Dishing the ball out. They're all getting along. AC's in there, you know, giving his energy. I think, and stealing the ball, and LeBron was dominant. You've never seen so many one-handed dunks. I mean, that was Lob City today. And they weren't playing much defense in the beginning, but they started to crank up. And I think just foul trouble. Jokic, getting 3 fouls and very frustrated. And I had predicted that, the bigs on the Lakers could dominate one big on the Denver side, and it sure as heck happened tonight.
It definitely did. Guys, it was a huge win for the Lakers in Game 1. Fredo, Paul, do you guys want to give your reaction to a big Game 1 win?
I think one of the things that what happened to Denver is, when you miss easy shots, and with a team like the Lakers, you can't miss easy shots, then don't get back on defense because they looking up the floor for fast breaks. Said it earlier, Rondo, another Kentucky guy. I give it up to all my Kentucky people. Kentucky showing out in these playoffs, but this is why you get a Rondo for his experience. You get it for, the regular season. He just filling in, doing what he had to do. But when it's come playoff time, you got someone that really knows the game, really can control the game. As you've seen when he was in there, even with LeBron let him handle the ball to really control the tempo. And that's why all them oops start happening, things of that nature, and he was getting to the basket so easy. So again, and it's hard, playing the game and missing those easy shots that Denver was missing. It really takes air out of you, especially when you're trying to come back and you're trying to make a move and you don't make those shots and they go down and make another fast break dunk or come back and get a 3. It really takes more air out of you than you really know.
Yep, Fredo, we'll come to you. I know you're still gloating after this past week. Your reaction to the Game 1 victory?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I just want to say this right now. So just be ready for this. The Lakers are going to sweep the Nuggets, plain and simple. I mean, you saw throughout the.
I think Denver's going to win one.
No, they're not, Shereen. I guarantee you. I don't know if you want to.
Are we betting another dinner?
Are we going to make another bet here, Shereen? But I'm telling you, I mean, the way the Nuggets just played throughout the game, it just seemed the Lakers have an answer for Jokic, and the Lakers have had answers in the previous rounds against dominant guards in James Harden and Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, and CJ McCollum. So they did a very good job in Murray. And, in this game, Murray and Jokic had a combined of only 42 points together. I mean, Davis himself had 37 in the game, which he just completely dominated in this game so far. And just really to show you a lot that the Lakers are very, very hungry to go ahead and take this over. And just from watching the game, I know that the final score was only 12 points or whatnot, but the Lakers led as much as 27 points in the game so far. So they just completely controlled this game, and just watching game one, they're going to get swept. Plain and simple. Lakers in 4. See you in the finals, guys.
Oh, I do want to say a few things. Number one, it obviously was a dominating effort. LeBron James is still LeBron James and still going, here's my shot, let's show. But I don't know if this is a weird comparison, but it kind of reminded me of when the Pistons and the Bulls played back in the day. It was very physical, but the Lakers were really physical against the Nuggets. I don't know if that frazzled them a bit. In game one, we saw them, especially in the second quarter when the lead was kind of extending and the Lakers started to run away with it. We saw Dwight Howard get a little trash talk. We even saw LeBron James go and-1 after he made a basket.
It was on Murray too. I saw that one.
They really stepped up the physical part of the game and kind of, I think, frazzled the Nuggets a bit. Remember, Jamal Murray, I do want to say, in the past 2 series, it seems like he has not gotten going till later in the series against the Jazz and the Clippers. He really starts late when the Nuggets are in desperation mode. So that's something still to keep an eye out for. Guys, moving forward to game 2, what adjustments do the Nuggets have to make, in your guys' opinion, to make this a series and not a sweep like Fredo predicts?
First of all, to Paul's point, the experience level on the Lakers is showing majorly. You got a bunch of young players with, young legs, and they can last long, but if they're not making their shots, they're not going to win. So yes, they need to make more shots, but their stars also need to make more points than normal, I think. Also, I think they should sit their center for a little while in the beginning to start the next game and throw a loop to the Lakers, play a little different style. They're going to have to do something, and the coach knows LeBron. The coach coached LeBron. Mm-hmm. So he knows how LeBron ticks. So maybe, lull the Lakers into thinking they're going to really do well, and then throw their center in there, when the bench comes in or something. Like, they're going to have to think outside the box, I think, to win this next game.
Yeah, Paul, your game 2 adjustments, I guess, from Denver's point of view after really getting dominated in game 1.
They're bench players. They support players who have to step up. The main 2 guys, they stepped up and played. They played well. I mean, you got to think about it. The Lakers they have two starting, close to 3 starting teams on one team. Just each group come in, they can go start somewhere else in the league, and you can't make mistakes, and you can't be mental mistakes. And I think a lot of it is, Denver. This first time Denver been in this kind of position, and you're looking at LA. LA seen what they've done before, seen what Denver has done before, and so they're not coming out letting you breathe and letting you get that momentum. Now, at the end of the game, it helped Denver a little bit to come back and bring it down to 12. They can go back into the practice and stuff and look at it and say, okay, this is what we did, and this is what kind of energy level that we brought to bring it down to 12, and they come back that way. But if you missing layups and missing shots and not getting back, LA they got too much power, and you got leaders out there that not going to let it happen. Let you come back from 3-1 with them. It's not going to happen with that. They get 3-1, you might as well just kiss a good night.
Remember, that's for a 3rd time in a row. That would be something. Yeah, remember the LeBron James has more franchise playoff wins than the entire Denver Nuggets franchise. It's a lot more experience. On the Lakers side, Fredo, I know you said the series is practically over after game 1 and it's going to be a sweep, but what do the Nuggets have to do in your opinion?
I guess some of the role players, like Paul said, I mean, you know what you're going to get out of Jokic and Murray. Today they had a slow start, somewhat of a game, just 21 points each. But, Paul Millsap really has to step up. Paul only had 5 points in this game. Jeremy Grant, who had a great series against the Clippers, only scored 9 points as well. So some of those players really have to just step up and really hit some shots, because they did miss a couple shots and plenty of wide open shots as well and some layups. And they just kind of, it just seemed the Lakers just have, like Paul said as well, just too much power, just a leadership on the court. When Rondo comes in the game, it's just like a whole different type of Rondo that we're watching. LeBron in there, Dwight played amazing with just his effort, his energy. And JaVale might, I don't know if he's going to get the starting game too, because it seemed like, Dwight came in and started the second half and just kind of continued doing what he's doing. But I mean, that's just about it for the Nuggets. I think they just got to step up and with the role players, but the Lakers are just too good. Dylan.
Did you see? Did you see Dwight was huddling up with the Denver team?
Yeah.
And he actually had a righteous standard, like the ref was trying to move him away. It's like, no, it's not a timeout.
Somebody did that in the playoffs before. I forgot. Was it Kobe?
It was Rondo. Rondo's done it before.
Oh, Rondo.
Yeah.
Rondo's, yeah.
I think when he was with Boston. Guys,
Yeah.
it's going to be an interesting game too, which is set for Sunday currently, or it will be played Sunday, I should say. The Nuggets have to make some adjustments. I think it starts with Jokic as well. I think he looked very frazzled in game one, and they needed Nikola Jokic to come out. That was in the Clippers series and the Utah series for them to really – your superstars, when the series get thick, are the players that you look towards. We're going to move towards – or the other side of the conference finals really quickly. Between the Heat and the Celtics, the Heat have surprisingly taken a 2-0 series lead against the Boston Celtics after a 106-101 win in Game 2. Shereen, is this series over for the Celtics?
I think the Celtics pull one win out, but I think Jimmy Butler is on fire. He wants this, He's been looking for that team. And, today everybody, on Twitter was talking about, how did the Heat pull the wool over the Celtics' eyes? I'm like, they're coached by Eric Spoelstra, and their GM is Pat Riley. Both of them have rings. Like, they've had winning teams before. So very quietly, Pat Riley put this team together, and, they're doing really well. So I don't think it's over, but the Celtics need to do what the Denver Nuggets need to do is get their mojo back. They just fall apart at the end of the game. It did go to overtime in the second game, which was very exciting. And they were both playing very hard, which we didn't see from the Clippers.
Except
for Montrez. Montrez and Pat Riley.
Montrez did play well in Game 7. Paul, your reaction to the Eastern Conference Finals? Jimmy Butler has been that dude.
Oh, he's definitely been that guy. I think one of the things that, again, those Kentucky guys on that team, man, those Kentucky guys are doing well. And when you get Bam in there dunking 5-6 times.
Yeah, Bam.
Oh, my goodness. But you know what? One thing is great about them. Now, you talk about team chemistry. They come out and play their roles. They come out and play hard. They play defense. And Butler is definitely the leader of that team. And he steps up every night. He might start off slow, but they know who they're going to, and everybody's playing their role. And we were talking about Denver earlier. If they don't get their role players playing like Miami Heat, it might be 4-0. It might be 4-0 for them. But yeah. Miami is playing. I don't know. I don't know about the Celtics. I don't know. Kemba Walker, Kemba is the guy I think needs to play. I think he's doing a lot to help out others, but he's the most playmaking person they have on their team. And when he gets going, like at the first half of that game, he was getting going and couldn't nobody stop him. He was going through the lane, slashing, hitting those little runners. He was playing his game, and then he just backed off the second half, and those Kentucky boys again.
I mean, if we're talking Wildcats, there is still a Wildcat in the race with your Kentucky Wildcats, and that's Andre Iguodala, who I mentioned last time is the guy that you don't know really what he does, but he's in there doing something, and it is helping, and so he wasn't the MVP for the Golden State in the finals for nothing. So having that kind of experience is also helping out Jimmy Butler, I think.
Not only Jimmy Butler, but all those young guys that's playing that he could talk to while they on the bench.
Right, he's coaching them up.
He's coaching them. He's telling them, and he knows the game enough to tell them just enough to do. And when you got a person in there that is a locker room coach that, you know, that they've seen, they respect. He's not out of the game. They know he and even during the playoffs so far, he came in, he played big minutes. He always played at the end of the game.
Right. He's always in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's when you want to play. People are like, I need to start. But people that you see at the end of the game is the ones that coaches trusted. Look at Hero. Hero's playing at the end of the game.
Oh, Hero is fantastic.
Yes, Kentucky Wildcat. I'm telling you, Kentucky Wildcat, baby.
As long as they're not doomed.
Your reaction to the Heat and Celtics?
Oh, well, with the Celtics and the Heat, you know, I did pick the Celtics to win the series. I mean, they should have won game 2. They were up plus 20 points on them, which should have been a W for them. But I think one of the only players that should take the blame, I know the coach should take some blame, but Jason Tatum got to shoot more than 12 shots. I mean, he played almost 40 minutes, and by only limiting himself to only 12 shots, making 6 out of 12, you got to make more than that in order to take over this game, man. I mean, it's just I put it all down on Jason Tatum.
It's Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They're both
Kentucky Wildcat.
No. He's a Dukester. He's a Dukester.
Jaylen Brown is a Pac-12 guy, though, so Shereen will root for him. Guys, we need to wrap up this part of the series. The Heat lead the Celtics 2-0 so far in the Eastern Conference Finals. Coming up, Paul, we are getting to know you here on the In the Front Row Spotlight, so that's going to be exciting. Guys, we'll be back in a moment.
If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. Got 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I'll be in the front row, chilling at a boogie.
Welcome back, guys, here on the In the Front Row YouTube channel. We have a full panel of hosts. Shereen and Fredo are with me, and Paul Showtime Gaffney is here as well. Paul, we want to come to you to get to know you a little bit here on the In the Front Row Spotlight. What first made you pick up a basketball and want to get into basketball?
You know, that's really a funny story because my aunt was like my mom, and she was in high school at the time. I was probably about 6 or 7 years old, and she was a senior. And a guy that wanted to date her knew that the best way to her was through me.
Oh.
And so he took me out on the court in the park, taught me how to play the game. You know, he was the first one to really introduce me to the game. And then I remember a young lady named Margaret Harris. She was a top player at the time. I looked up to her, and she helped me out because I didn't even know what guards were or forwards were. She took me under her wing. She's probably about 4 years older than me, but she was a top player. And, you know, talking about women's sports, I mean, she was definitely one of the people that I could say helped me learn the game early.
What a great story.
Yeah,
that's a great story because women play very much fundamental basketball.
Oh, I tell my son, I tell anybody that we coach, I say, if you want to see how the actual game is played through the fundamentals, you watch the girls. Watch the girls play. They're going to be fundamental. They're not going to be jumping all over the rim and, you know, just super athletic ability, even though they got great athletic ability and can do so much, but they're gonna keep it pick and roll, how to shoot the jump shot, you know, left hand, right hand, boxing out.
They have plays.
You know, so I mean, you look at that, you can really see the trueness of a basketball game when you watch the ladies game.
That's
a great story.
Yeah.
So how was it in high school and beyond? You know, how did you?
Well, you know, being out of the state of Kentucky.
It's completely all about basketball, right? It's not a football school.
You know, you had to play. I'm from the coal mines of Kentucky, and you know, just a little background about myself. You know, I was adopted before I was born.
Wow.
My biological mother just had a child about a year and some months before me, and her mother, you know, she got pregnant again. She went to prom, thought it was, that she ate too much egg salad, but it wasn't egg salad. And so during that time, it wasn't as popular, or as acceptable, I say, to have children. It was already that you already had one. And she told her, she said, look, either you're going to put this child up for adoption or you're going to have to abort it. Simple, nothing cut and dry. It was cut and dry in that level. So my parents at the time were older couples. They were like in their 60s at the time, and they could never have, my mom could never have kids. And so they were like the community parents that give out ice cream and always around there. And so they worked out the situation. So at birth, I was given the last name Gaffney. And from that standpoint, I was about to turn 2 on January 26th. Write that down. Make sure you remember those dates so we have the gifts. But on January 18th, my mom, I was in the house with her. I was again about to turn 2. She had a heart attack. She had a stroke, and so she passed. And so at that point, it was my father and myself for 20-some years. And so I was adopted, raised by a single parent in a rural area. I mean, all the things that, those stories can take a different turn than it did. And I think, working on the path of athletics and had family members that were deeply into education, it's just a clear path for me from that standpoint. And, like I said, and being from the state of Kentucky, it was, once you taste the athletic and being in sports and, just seeing, and it's a high, it's just like any other thing that you can take, any other stimulant, I could say, of being an athlete and then being good at being an athlete. It definitely helped you reach different levels. Definitely had to have your education to even play. So that was when Prop 48 first came out, all of those kind of things. So it was definitely a push for education and sports. And at the time, I was verbally signed to go to Kentucky. Myself, Rex Chapman came out that same year, Spelton Spencer, that went to Louisville, Reggie Hansen, all of these guys, Nick Sanford from Kentucky was going, and then that's Coach Joe B. Hall retired, and Coach, oh my God, from Oklahoma State. He just.
I'm not gonna forgive you.
Oh my gosh, he just passed too, not too long ago. But he came in, so he had his home crew, and he kept Super Rex and all of that, and I went somewhere else, but it was definitely great. And I'm always a Kentucky fan. Even I'm a Louisville fan. Everything coming out of the state of Kentucky, we support. But it's great. I think one of the things you said by high school is just that burning desire to play that game that you love, especially in basketball. And I think we're about one of the only states in the country that is what we call our state tournament. It's called the Sweet 16.
Really?
Because it's 16 regions.
Wow.
In the state of Kentucky. And if you're single A or 5A, it doesn't matter. You have to play. And that's how you make it to the Sweet 16 that's held at Rupp Arena for the state tournament. So it's basketball is deep. You can, again, we had a lot of single A, and when we were there, we were one of the top single A teams out there. We beat several teams. We played AC Floor out of South Carolina when they had the 2 twins, and
wow.
Xavier McDaniels and all. I know some of y'all don't know who that is. Y'all a little young. But
my guy.
Yeah, like who? You gotta look through gotta stroll for that one. But I mean, we had great talent on there. Again, being a team from the coal mines, and people overlooked us a lot. But we had great talent, and we did well. We did well.
That's great.
Yep. Tell us.
Go ahead, Dylan.
All right. Tell us about I guess, into your college days and playing college?
Well, I ended up at Tennessee Wesleyan University in Athens, Tennessee. I was at Jacksonville State. Transferred. My two best friends, well, my cousin and my best friend was at Tennessee Wesleyan at the time, and I got hurt at Jacksonville State, and they were like, all right, during that time they could basically deal with your scholarship a little bit more, not like they're not doing today. But so I transferred to Tennessee Wesleyan, went there. I averaged 21, 11, and 9.
Wow, it's almost a triple double.
Yeah. I had some good years there, and went, and my agent after college, my agent was in Houston. Went to Houston, played at Fondy Rec Center with all the pros from Akeem Olajuwon, Kenny Smith, all these guys. Penny Hardaway, everybody came to Houston during that time. It was almost like the Drew League. It was
it was like a pro-am?
No, it was definitely pro-am, and then you worked out that's before they made the extra facilities for the Rockets and stuff.
Oh.
But everybody came. If you going to play professional or overseas or playing in the NBA, you was playing at Fondy Rec Center during that time, during the summer leagues, doing workouts during the day. And so during that time, again, I was going to Seattle, free agency, and I hurt my ankle. I mean, one of those kind that they said it was better broken than, sprained the way it was.
Oh.
It took me out for about a year, 6 months to a year. Got back up, but during that time, we were playing, and the coaches from the Globetrotter seen me there, and some players say, look, you know where your aspirations and stuff are at. Won't you come to camp, see what's going on here, and we think your personality and how you play would be great. Went to the camp, and I'm thinking that we're going to, I was like, well, I can't spin the ball. I don't know no tricks.
I can't do all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. And they said, just come to camp and you'll see. Went there, and it was nothing but All-Americans, top college players. And we didn't touch the ball for like a week and a half. And I was like, wait a minute, this where's the jokes? Where's the tricks at? Running on track, doing tour-days and playing. Because, when the misconception, well, now, but when we came through, it was, that, you just laugh and joke and throw the ball behind your back and do some things. But all these guys here was, again, tops in the college All-Americans, guys that came from the NBA came, and we had guys leave us and go to the NBA. They look for talent. I mean, see if you can play, because I don't care how many times you can spin the ball on your finger, the ball got to go through the hoop.
Right,
Sometimes.
and it does a lot. Like, I remember, I'm in the age group, so
Right.
I've been watching the Harlem Globetrotters for a long time. The Curly
Right.
days, your days, all that. So, and I was always amazed at the skill level, and I never for once thought you guys didn't have skill.
Yeah.
For me, you had more skill than people in the NBA, because not only could you play, not only did the ball always seem to go in the basket, but you could also do all this stuff with the ball, which was amazing to me. So for me, I always felt your skills were above the pro basketball player. I don't know if people thought it was below, maybe in the NBA they did, but for me personally, I always thought the Harlem Globetrotters had more skill than any other basketball player in the world. That's how, as a kid and growing up, that's how I always felt.
That's why
I'm not just saying that to blow smoke up your ass,
That's all right.
exactly
Keep blowing
how
it. They
I
keep
felt.
blowing it. I like smoke.
I mean, you guys had to make baskets. If you could watch the Harlem Globetrotters even now, they have to make the baskets. They make some really
I think one of the things
plays.
that people like you're saying, we were, and I have to say, when Manny Jackson came and bought the team at that time, and it was going through some stuff, again, you had to find great basketball players, and then what they look for from that part is if you had two great basketball players or two people for a position and they both had the same type of skill, is, their personality. We didn't want anybody choking President Mandela or kicking the Pope in the leg. You got to have somebody that we're able to be representing, saying nobody's perfect, but that represent the brand well.
Right.
And then from that standpoint, what do you bring special to the Globetrotters? What skill set, what things that you have that transcends the aura of the Globetrotters? And I had guys on my team that jumped so high they got freaking flyer miles when they came back.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys
Yeah.
had skills that other people just didn't have.
Yeah. I mean, Vince Carter had you seen him when he put the arm in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had guys doing that in 92, 93. Barry Hardy was one of those people. We had Michael Wilson, that's in the Guinness Book of World Records, of slamming the ball, I think 12-1. So it's guys that definitely had those type of skill sets that really that made it. And we were just basketball players to entertain. When we played national teams, we played Olympic teams, we played college All-American teams, college when was that Michigan State and all of them was winning, Iowa, we played teams of that nature. So we really played a lot of basketball. We played a lot of great basketball, and then you had to make you laugh too.
Was it as fun as it looks like it was? Like, did you just enjoy it immensely, or
What I enjoyed the
than
most?
we see?
It's definitely harder. I mean, we travel. I traveled to 93 countries in my 15 years.
Wow.
I played in the Forum and opened up the Staples Center. I mean, all the way through. So it was that kind of years for us. And then you travel. It was hard. The traveling was hard, but it's almost like how the Lakers, and I could take them right now. How the Lakers chemistry is with everybody. It seemed like they all get along, all having a good time. That's how we were. My 15 years there, I had some great guys: Herbert Lane, Andre Branch, again Michael Wilson, Juan Versher, Orlando Antigua. That's actually was one of the coaches at University of Kentucky. Went to
Wow.
he was in Florida, then now he's in Illinois. So it's a lot of guys like that play with us that made each and every day special. These guys, you got to think about it. These guys with great talent, great humor. People say, would you go back and play right now? No, but I would go back. But I would go back and just have the camaraderie that we had and the love. We meet every week still now since the pandemic.
Wow, really?
We meet every night, once a week on Zoom, just to older guys, younger guys, our age group, or our era, just to keep in touch and basically just to laugh.
It's like a fraternity, it sounds like.
It is. It is.
I mean, 15 years is a long time, so you have a lot of great relationships. Do you have any one story for us that no one would know about? On the road or something fun? Somebody that you don't like or don't talk to every week that you could throw under the bus? Or
I can tell you one story on camera that would be good.
Okay.
We went to we were the first professional team to go to free and democratic South Africa.
Okay.
So
after apartheid.
Right after President Mandela got elected, we were there in the 86 and 87. No, not 86. Heck, I was in high school. 96 and 97. And we got there and we was in the palace, and waiting on him to come out. And there was a lot of people there, cameras, that kind of stuff. And we were facing one way, but he came from the back of us.
Oh.
But when he came in, you knew someone was special. That aura he had about him, and just radiant. I mean, you didn't even have to see him. Huh? Right. You didn't even have to see him and knew somebody like,
that's
wait a minute.
Amazing.
Yes. I mean, it was amazing. We stayed there. Next time I have a picture or two for you. with
Okay.
him, and we played little ball together, and
Oh.
it was an honor. And we went all throughout South Africa. Then we came back the next year. This has really changed my professional life and my whole life, not just professional in sports, but just how about treating people. I'm still working on names, but he came up the next year. We came out again next year. It was in Johannesburg, and he came out. We talked to him, and he went to everybody. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? Glad you came back." Going down the line. Then he came to me. He said, "Hey, Showtime, how you doing?" If I wasn't never starstruck, I was then.
Oh.
Because you see someone of this magnitude. I mean, he is known.
He brings peace to the world, right?
Yeah, he was that dude, and he
Mother
still is
Teresa
that dude.
type.
And for him to remember my name and to say it kind of changed me how I relate to people, because I know how well it touched me. And for my circle or anything that's in my circle, I try to treat the people the same in that way that he made me feel. So yeah, he changed my whole perspective that day, that moment.
What a great story.
Yeah.
I got a tear in my eye from that.
I got some more now, but now.
Well, just save them and then sprinkle them in as we go save one for every,
Yeah, I think that was hands down one that, even being with Oprah and all that could touch President Mandela.
Wow. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
let's talk about what you're doing now, because that story kind of leads a little bit into what makes you tick and what you're doing right now. So you want to tell us a little bit about team and
well, we finalized the process of creating the nation's first teams college preparatory Christian academy for sports enthusiasts that deals with the careers in sports, from sports medicine, sports marketing, sports communication, sports nutrition, basically everything that society doesn't show you what sports really is. And TEAMS is a new learning model. The acronym stands for technology, engineering, athletics, mathematics, and science, where we take the concepts of STEM and view them through the lenses of athletics. So when you come to the school, you get admitted to the school, and you create your own pathway. You have to choose one of the things that are just say sports medicine. That'll be your pathway through throughout your 4 years of being there. Also, one of the things we just wanted to make sure that we take, and that's not for the physical, and I definitely want to stress that, not for the physical athlete or the physical person that want to have a love and desire to be in the sports world, but it's people that have the love and desire. I mean, things where we say artists, people that can draw, but also have their talent, but also have a love to be in the sports world. We just combine the two and show them how they mesh. That, hey, you could take your talents of art and drawing, not only that you may not be playing, but you can produce where people play. Because all these stadiums, all the Staples Centers, all the
everybody needs a digital media person, right?
Oh, digital media, or they have to build the buildings. Architects have to draw the buildings. It just didn't come up. So those are ways that medicine. Speaking of little LeBron James, when he get hurt, he goes to a sports medicine person, and they are in the game, and their knees don't have to hurt as much, and they can stand there as long as they want to. So I think if you open up people's mind and see that, hey, it's more to sports than just running and jumping. And this might be I'm gonna say it anyway. I just the piece of be quiet and dribble.
I hate that.
It's
that I don't want none of these kids, none of these people that's in the sports world, going in the sports world, especially coming through our our school system, be able to, somebody can even label that or say that to them for not only the athletic ability, if that's how they come, or the knowledge or understanding of their craft that they will have coming through GAPA. It's called Gaffney Athletic Preparatory Academy. Simple GAPA, GAPA, GAPA.
So after high school, you also have a program for post high school, correct?
We have a post grad also. We have a 1-year post grad school that would be for someone that may need extra time for grades, extra time to get their skill level together, extra time if they need foreign language or things of that nature that's coming from overseas, and basically give them that year of growth, and without losing their eligibility to go and be seen, and they could be seen by a bigger college if it was a smaller college or so, and they know that their talents are better or more advanced than what they think their the opportunity to go to college was. They come to post grad, develop that, get seen even better, and have an opportunity to go to a bigger school, maybe even Kentucky.
Well, not only that, like when the one and done rule goes away, maybe they don't want to go to college.
Yeah.
And your program makes a lot of sense because they still be eligible. They won't be playing in the pros.
Yeah.
Right. So they could go to the pros. Would you be
yeah.
offering like scholarships to really, really good athletes or is it just going to be, whoever qualifies and passionate, I want them in the school?
I think it's a little both. We understand that that everybody's not on the same level or financially on the same level. I think our missions is lower than most. As a matter of fact, I would say almost all. I mean, we're the highest, and that's going to be staying is 15,000 a year, and basically from 9 to 15,000 is where we're going to be. We're going to have some scales that will definitely help people that may not have the full means to get there. We want to make it as affordable as possible. It's some guys that really have great talent, and girls that have great talent and great skill sets that maybe just not have the financial means to go to a high school of this magnitude, that we'll be able to fix some things to be able to have them.
And so what are you looking for right now in your process? Are you looking for advisors? Are you looking for sponsors? Is there any ask you have of the audience, of the fans that are watching you?
I think, our biggest thing is definitely, and we thank you for this platform, is getting the information out. We're definitely looking for sponsors, looking for people to come in and come teammates with us, put names on buildings, enrollment, help with some of the kids that we just talked about for enrollment, endowment pieces of that. We found out there's definitely some great opportunities for voucher for people to come in and put money in the Tennessee voucher program and focus it to us as a nonprofit private school that I think it's around about 70% of write-offs they get for that. So it's a lot of different ways. We're definitely looking for people that can come and give us advice. We're getting some new advisors coming up, like Bernie Bickerstaff is going to be one of our
fantastic
advisors. You're going to be one of them. So we're going to be able to.
I want to sign up.
So we're going to have great people like yourself, and be able to just do. Everybody knows what at this point of definitely the financial backing to help. Also, and again, knowledge. I mean, we don't know everything. We got the vision for it. We moving towards the goal, and definitely any help or any assist You know, anything that help us score, we're definitely looking for.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because, you know, colleges these days, they do have these majors in sports management. It's very hard to get in. Once you get in, there's a plethora of people looking for a job.
Yeah.
But I think things in the world are going to change, you know, with different types of education. So if you're already teaching them everything and they're coming out of high school, they might know more than they would learn in a college. So you might have a whole group of like interns and young trainees all ready to go that are educated, they have their high school degree, and they're focused on this. Whereas, you know, right now people spend their first 2 years doing GE and their second 2 years doing sports management, but probably not as in depth as you're going to go. And you're going to have all kinds of guests and all your friends, and everybody can teach these people, you know, how to groom themselves. And, you know, if they want to go to college, they're perfect. They're going to get into these schools because they'll already be well versed in it. So I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. I think, well, you know, one of the things that we want to do is how we say our real life experience campus is once you learn it in the classroom that you're able to experience it on campus, because we'll have different events. We will be having, you know, tournaments and leagues and non-school events that they'll be able to help come and manage. We'll have, you know, sports medicine things that'll be on campus that they can come and be a part of that, and they can see it. And, you know, if they are vision learners like myself, it definitely helps. That gives you that aha moment. It's like, oh, I just learned this in the classroom, and now I'm experiencing it. And once you get the experience, that's something no one can take from you. You
That's
get
right.
that experience, you can't take that from you. So that's what we're basically creating on this campus. You know, it's not for everybody. It's just for people that have a love and desire to be in the world of sports.
Yeah, and Dylan is our editor. So, you know, I was talking to Paul, and we kind of offered our platform up for students in his program to use our platform to have their own blog. So we can have some budding sports writers for you, Dylan.
I'm always looking for writers. We are here. And it sounds amazing because people don't realize that sports is behind the line, like you said. It's not just the athletes going out and playing. It takes a whole village of people to run an organization, to design the stadiums, to come up with new ideas, to do the social media, there's a lot. Speaking of social media, where can we find you to continue along with this journey as it goes?
Our website is, trying to make it easy. Website is gapacademy.org, and we're on all social platforms at Gap Academy TN. So Gap Academy TN for all social media outlets, and we are Gap Academy for our website.
That is amazing, guys. Go find them there. We could chat all day about it. I'm sure we'll continue to chat about it here. You're here in the front row. Guys, it's time for shout outs at the end of each show, Paul. If you don't know, we shout out an athlete, anyone that you want. Shereen, we'll start with you. Where's your shout out going this week?
My shout out, Rajan Rondo. I always believed in him. I was happy that he came here. I was mad on Twitter when anybody dissed him, and he's shutting up all those naysayers right now, and I'm loving it.
Paul, your shout out?
Can I give two?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. I always have to give a shout out to we met a few times. He played with the Globetrotters for a little stint. Was Magic Johnson. He really gave me the love to play this game. I remember being 12 years old and watching him and Larry Bird playing in a championship game. That's the first game I ever watched on TV the full time. So I always give Magic a shout out, what he's doing on the court, off the court. So that's a shout out. But I have to give my shout out to Butler from Tomball, Texas. I was when he was going through high school, I was right up the street in Magnolia, Texas, in the Houston area. He is doing an amazing job taking those young guys, and Pat Rapp, another Kentucky person, put that team together.
Laker.
Yeah. Oh, you know, I'm a Laker fan now. Still a Laker fan. But since '79, when they said Magic Johnson. So the Dylan, you weren't born then, were you? You weren't around.
Youngin. I was younger than my youngest child.
1996 was my birthday.
So
He just had a birthday. He just had a birthday. 24.
Oh, did you? Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. It's been about a month ago.
Well, happy late birthday to you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I would say my shout out this week is going to the Stars and the Lightning, guys. The NHL playoffs are underway. I know everyone's talking, and we talk about the NBA a lot, but they have reached the Stanley Cup final, and the Stars and the Lightning, two teams that usually don't see there. One of the Lightning maybe a little more, but
yeah, where's my Kings? Missing.
Yeah, my Capitals lost way too early in the playoffs, but besides the year they won, that seems like a common theme. But guys, we do have to wrap it up here on In the Front Row. Paul, thanks for joining us so much. Shereen and Fredo, thanks as well. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that notification bell so you can find everything and when these videos are posted. And follow us on social media at In the Front Row LA. Guys, I'm Dylan. We'll see you next time.
If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. Got 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I be in the front row, chilling at a booth.